So, when I was in school, I always wondered why we had to learn mythology. Why do we have to learn the names of Greek and Roman gods and goddesses and what they did, what they looked like, what they represented, the relationships, how are they related to each other, um, which mortals they had children with? Because I always knew, I said, this is like a fairy tale. These are fables. These aren't real people. Zeus and Athena and Cupid and Neptune or Poseidon. I just felt like it was a waste of time. I said, we should be learning about real history, world history, not mythology. But of course, as I grew older and am now fully aware of the significance of Greek and Roman gods and goddesses in our society, in our culture, and in our world, because we are still embracing and learning about these allegedly make believe fictional characters. Well, let's just look at the cosmos. Of course, our planets are all named after Roman gods and goddesses, with Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Venus. It goes on and on. Why were we taught to not just know about it, but we had to identify the gods and goddesses as if they were real? And of course, now I know that they are based on real creatures. They are based on fallen angels. Oh, yes, the fallen ones. They are the gods and goddesses of Greek and Roman mythology that came down and fooled a lot of people who wanted to worship idols, who did not want to worship the one true God. We're going to go to 2 Kings chapter 23. Verse 5, and he put down the idolatrous priests whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. So we see in verse 5, this is 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 5, that the people were using the temple of God to bring unholy, pagan, idolatrous things inside of there to do their worshiping to their false gods, to burn incense in the high places. And they were burning incense into Baal, which another video I did previously, um, we know that Baal was actually pronounced Baal, Baal. To the sun, so sun worship, and to the moon, moon worship, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. So the stars, the moon, the constellation, the sun, everything that God created, the creator. So rather than worshiping the creator, the one true God, they worship his creation. No wonder. Why not just Greek mythology and heliocentric model and, spinning ball Earth, as well as when people pledge sororities and fraternities, and these different secret orders, secret societies, they take on the names of these pagan gods and goddesses. Okay, and I'm going to take you quickly to Acts chapter 14, where Paul and Barnabas are going to different places. They preach the gospel, and it says they met a leper, a man with leprosy, and Paul, who steadfastly beholding him and perceiving that he had faith to be healed, said with a loud voice, "Stand upright on thy feet." And he leaped and walked. This is verse 11. And when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, "The gods are come down to us in the likeness of men." The gods, those same Roman gods that we're talking about. The gods are come down to us in the likeness of men. And they called Barnabas Jupiter. So they changed Barnabas' name to Jupiter. And Paul they called Mercurius, also known as Mercury, because he was the chief speaker. Verse 13, then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands into the gates and would have done sacrifice with the people. So those are the types of things they brought for their worship to the planets and to Baal and to the sun, the moon, and the stars. But it says, Barnabas and Paul heard of it. They rent their clothes. They ran in among the people, crying out and saying, "Sirs, why do ye these things? We also are men of like passions with you." Verse 15, and preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities unto the living God. Turn from these vanities unto the living God, which made heaven and earth and the sea and all things that are therein. And so this is why it was so important that Paul and Barnabas got these men straight. These men were so used to idolatry, pagan rituals, worshiping Jupiter, who is Zeus in Greek mythology. And they called Barnabas Jupiter because they've said, he's the leader. So, Jupiter or Zeus is the king of the gods. They called Paul Mercury, which is Hermes in Greek mythology. And they said, "Why are you worshiping these idols? This is vanity. It's for nothing. It's for naught. What good is it to worship things that are not even alive, that you've created with your own hands? You are rejecting the Creator and instead worshiping the creation. You're worshiping planets and stars, the sun and the moon, rather than worshiping the one who actually created all of those things. It's all vanity." He said, "Turn to the living God who made the heaven and the earth and the seas, all the things that you adore, all the things that you have made gods and goddesses for. You are worshiping the wrong thing. Keep your eyes on God." And that is today. We are in school still being taught the importance of outer space, these 9 planets, that are named after these gods and goddesses of mythology, which is, of course, a religion, and it's being reinforced every single day. Every day. You can't watch TV without seeing images of outer space, the planets, how significant they are, how important they are. They just want us to, they want to put the emphasis, the importance, and the weight on those things. And I was just thinking, there isn't a coincidence when you think about when people pledge Greek letter organizations, in particular the BGLOs that call themselves the Divine Nine. I don't think it's a coincidence that they are the Divine Nine, the same as we have 9 planets, and that they are continuing to worship and idolize these Roman and Greek gods and goddesses. Or paraphernalia. They have the tags on their cars to rep their organization that is steeped in this pagan worship, idolatrous worship that Paul and Barnabas were forbidding the people to do in Acts 14 and then back in 2 Kings chapter 23. So it's the people who have decided to leave God, take him for granted, ignore him altogether sometimes. But for the life of me, I don't understand why they don't see that they are actually partaking in idolatry, that they are trying to serve two masters, that they are reverencing fallen angels who have disguised themselves as these gods and goddesses, whom their organizations are upholding and putting on pedestals. Idols that cannot do a thing, that have no power whatsoever, but they have given their love and affection to these idols. So it is perpetuated, and it is so driven and so ingrained in us that we know about the spinning ball, Baal, yes, that Baal is Baal, the spinning ball, and those planets, and that great big sun, that fireball. And when you actually look at a picture, a CGI image, of course, of the planets and the order that they are from the distance to the sun, from the distance to the sun, it actually looks like they're spiraling to hell, because the sun is depicted as this huge fireball anyways. Like it's just leading you. So when Paul was called, once again, Mercury, which was Hermes, the messenger of God. So Hermes is their name for the messenger, which is also Mercury. And when we think about where Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. And we see it's very, very hot. Very hot. And it just reminds you of a fire ball that is just nothing but destruction. And he's the messenger. So I think symbolically, yeah, this Jupiter represents Satan, and Mercury, or Hermes, is his messenger, and that's like a false prophet. Represents like a false prophet. It's very symbolic, and I would just encourage everyone who is holding on to these things as idols, to reconsider. Take a look, a really hard look at why we're being taught what we're being taught. So much weight is put on, what these gods and goddesses do, how important they are, things that they created, and to just wonder, are they trying to replace the one true living God? Doesn't this conflict with your walk, for those who are professing Christians? And then for those who are still on the fence about the flat earth, it's just once again another way to keep us looking out to this vast, ever expanding universe that never ends, to make Earth, our home, look so small, so insignificant. And to ask yourself, why is that? Why are they showing us these images to diminish our value and importance? But that is going to do it for this video for this time. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I hope that if you haven't subscribed, that you do so today. Be my newest subscriber. If you like this video, please hit the like button and give me your comment, and I would be happy to talk to you about this further. But until the next time, you be blessed and you take care.